to take a look at how to subdivide and then also add some site components. So one of the things that we'll take a look at is I'm actually going to move to the site plan. I'm going to select the Toposolid, and one of the options is you're going to have to be able to do is subdivide. So subdivide allows you to create areas within your Toposolid. So maybe some things we can do with a subdivision here would be to, I'm going to go ahead and just use the rectangle tool, maybe create like a little walking path up to our tiny home. So let's say we do like a little walking path like this. We'll go ahead and select the green check mark. Now let's go ahead and go back to the 3D view. Here you're going to see there is kind of our subdivision. Notice it is labeled as Toposolid 1. So what I can do here is I can edit the type. Let me duplicate. Let's go ahead and call this, we'll call this concrete walk. And then I can select edit, and then by the material category I can choose concrete. We'll do cast in place gray. And then here, maybe we don't need it to be like an inch, but maybe more like 4 inches. And notice how we want to make sure we have a 0 starting with our value. There we go. I'll select OK. I'll select OK again. And here it'll put a, notice how it embeds kind of into the top of the solid. So if we want to offset it, you can always select it. And maybe we bump this up just by maybe about an inch. And hit apply. And you can see there's where it'll kind of stick up off the ground a little bit more. So again, selecting whatever Toposolid subdivision you have. And essentially we're just adding another Toposolid in here, right? So there is what we have going on. If we want to go back to the site plan, we could also do something along the lines of this, where I could subdivide. I could end up creating like a road or something like that, or a street, and we'll just kind of put just a preliminary like 10 foot or something like that. One thing you'll want to watch out for is it does not like, and I'll go ahead and show you by just moving this line over, is when I go to hit the green check mark, a lot of times you can make them touch, but they do not like to overlap subdivisions. So this one worked out pretty well, and I think it's because of this right here. So you can see here's the road. If I edit the type, I can duplicate. We'll call this roadway. I can edit the structure. Go ahead and go into the material. Asphalt should be in here. We can use asphalt shingle. One of the patterns probably not going to work real well. But what I can do here is I can select asphalt. I can choose the little duplicate material and assets. So instead of asphalt shingle, let's just do asphalt. So if it's not an option, we'll create it. In the graphics, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that over to black. We'll do kind of like a black pavement. And in the appearance, I'll open the asset browser, go to the appearance library, go to site work, and here they have kind of like an asphalt, maybe like a dark gray. Actually, let's switch this out and look like it. That looks pretty good. It's a color that's a little dark, so that can be it. So I'll go ahead and select that, and I'll just hit apply. Select OK. There's what that looks like. Maybe we'll only go about 6 inches or something like that. We're just gonna enough to show what this looks like. Select OK. Select OK. There's kind of our roadway. There's our asphalt. There it kind of has that little gray appearance for the realistic. But there we go. There's our kind of dark colored, maybe roadway or anything there. Okay. So that's how to subdivide and add in some different pieces like that. The other thing that we're going to do in this video is going to be something we've looked at before, which is how to add components. So I'm actually going to go back to the site plan. And in this particular site plan, I'm going to go up here to the massing and site, and you'll see there's a site component command. So I'm going to select that, and you'll see there's different types of trees and everything there. It looks like they just have the deciduous trees, which are ones that lose their leaves in the winter time. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to drop a couple trees in, select cancel twice, go to the 3D view, and you can see what this looks like once we have those trees in. You can also select the trees themselves, change their type, see what kind of tree, what they kind of look like there. So sometimes they will give you just kind of like a silhouette of what some of the general trees are. But here you can kind of see that. If you want to add more site components, go to Insert. We're going to go to Load Autodesk Family. In here, we're going to find really two styles. The main one here is planting. So planting is going to give you some different options. So maybe we'll throw a couple of, let's do a conifer tree and maybe a shrub. And maybe it looks like, that's really what we're looking for. RPC, tree, conifer, shrub. And that looks pretty good. We'll hit load. Let's load Autodesk Family. I'm going to click on All Results. And we're going to take a look at Entourage is another good one. So vehicles, some people, are in there. And then the other one would be Site. So Site has a few other different options in here as well. So you can always look through some of these different ones. So for example, maybe I want to load the pickup truck. And let me see if I can load some people here. We'll go into Entourage. So we'll load male and female RPCs. All right, so here's what we can do now. Is in order to go to the site plan, I can click on Architecture. What I usually do is you can either go to Massing and Site and load the site component, and those will show up in here as well. So you'll see some of those that got added. If you don't see them through here, you can also click on the Architecture tab, click Component, and they'll be in here as well. So they'll just be with some of the other different options. So Site Component just kind of filters out some of the other things. So I'm actually going to click on Massing and Site, Site Component. We'll throw a person in here, just so we can see that. That's the representation that it's got. And let me throw the little pickup truck in here. We'll put it right here next to the tiny home. And here we go. There we are with some of our site components. So have fun with creating a site plan and just being able to show some realistic approach to some of those things. You can always throw all kinds of planting and trees and different things like that, but have fun with it and explore how to kind of create that in Revit.